Hello, and welcome to episode 5 of the Good Enough Mums Club podcast, where sometimes being good enough is best.
Just before we get started, we do swear sometimes, just in case you're listening with the kids around and you want to wait till later.
How will I ever be good enough? When will the loneliness fade away? When will it fade away? Why does it have to be so tough? Hard as I try, I'll never be good enough.
Hello, my name is Emily Beecher.
And my name's Jade Samuels, and we are the hosts of the Good Enough Mums Club podcast.
Every week, we'll initiate a mum into the club and explore the complexities and realities of modern motherhood.
You can join the club or find out more about the musical or future episodes of podcasts by following us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, searching the Good Enough Mums Club. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, rate and review wherever you listen.
In this episode, we're chatting with accessibility campaigner, disabled parent, devoted mum to her gorgeous son Oscar, the amazing Molly Carnan.
Oh, she's lovely. Molly talks us through her experience with being in a wheelchair and being a mum, particularly looking at the criticism and lack of support she felt when she first discovered that she and her partner were expecting. It was incredible hearing how resilient she is and how, despite what anyone else said, she knew she was going to be a great mum.
We caught up on Zoom with me in London, Jade in Birmingham, and Molly in Leicestershire. We'll kick off as we always do with a little round of Mum, Would You Rather? Would you rather watch In the Night Garden or Mr. Tumble?
Mr. Tumble, only because Oscar does the sign language now. He really tries to.
Wow.
Biggest thing in the world, so I could watch that all day. It's lovely.
Okay, Molly, would you rather get your hair done or your nails done?
My hair. I need my hair done.
Yeah. Are you feeling lockdown hair?
I've been doing it myself and
I was going to say, it looks very pretty. I was going to say.
it looks okay, but it wasn't the intention.
I've got a feeling a lot of humans are in that position right about now. Hey, this wasn't what I'm going for, but what can I do?
It'll do.
Roll with it.
Yeah, literally, I colored my hair the other day and it was like this golden copper color and my roots have come out like really orange. I was like, okay, ombre.
I love that colour.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm going to pretend it's like the ombre look that I wanted.
You look like Merida, and it's incredible.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice.
It's the dream,
Yes.
honestly.
You are so sweet. You can come back again and again. Okay, Tom Hardy or Idris Elba?
Idris Elba. He makes me strange.
Would you rather clean up baby poo or baby puke?
Either or. The puke, I suppose. It feels less offensive.
Date night. Are you going for a nice dinner or to the cinema?
Dinner. Because I'm always happy when someone feeds me.
Completely.
Totally.
I'm not a massive fan. I'm really not a huge fan of the cinema now. We just wait till it comes out.
I always fall asleep.
Same. And I like to be able to stop the film when I want to and get up and do what I want with my day. Okay. Would you rather have a really long sleep or a nice little nap?
Long sleep. Sleep for days.
Do you have a favorite of your tattoos?
Yes. My Cheshire Cat bit. I don't know if you can see it.
That's incredible.
I've got an entire Alice in Wonderland sleeve. So my entire left arm is my favourite tattoo.
It looks incredible. So amazing.
I love big tattoos that are unapologetic. They're gorgeous.
Yeah, I thought, well, people are staring at me anyway, so I might as well be covered. And give them something to look at.
Okay, what is the first word you think of when you think of the word mum?
Contentment.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Yeah. I love being a mum. It's my favourite.
Okay then, Molly. I wanted to know what it was like, your journey to becoming a mum.
Anxiety inducing is the right word, or the right phrase. I always wanted kids, but because of my disability, I'd always been sort of, every time I'd mention it, people would usually just dismiss it as a kind of fantasy. So when I actually got pregnant, telling people, their first reaction wasn't really that of joy and more of like, oh, really? Like, because it just goes against everything that they think is possible for you. So I suppose my journey was a huge learning curve in terms of just how mean people can be and the preconceptions of, I mean, I'd always dealt with morons making assumptions about my capabilities, but this was on a different level. I was getting it from doctors and midwives and all sorts. So my journey involved a lot of arguments and general frustration.
Pushback.
Yeah.
Did you get a lot of pushback?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I got pregnant and it wasn't planned, and I had to put things on hold in my life to have the baby.
Yeah.
And the people weren't happy about me having that baby. And it's not a nice feeling, is it?
No, it's horrible. Yeah.
Having a baby. And I was not dealing with what you was in any way, shape, or form.
No, but it's a similar situation. It's you should be happy and excited, and instead you're stressed about what someone else is thinking. It's the exact opposite of what you should be dealing with.
I didn't put any pictures on Facebook during my pregnancy until I was pretty much due. I didn't announce that I was having it. No one knew.
It's so sad.
And that's one thing that was really sad. Like, that's what I meant. Like,
Yeah.
you feel like you've got to hide your pregnancy, that it's a dirty secret.
Yeah, you feel like you can't
love your child more than anything.
You've always got to be on the defensive. Like when if you're going to be speaking, you're going to talk about it. Depending on the person you're talking to, you think, right, well, I'm going to have to be prepared for a horrible comment. And you just want to talk about whatever, like how rubbish it is being pregnant that day, or you're excited for this or excited for that, without being told how hard it's going to be.
Yeah. Did you find, I know you've written a lot about this, but did you find you had to advocate for yourself a lot in the sort of medical community?
More than I expected. I kind of knew that there would be some ridiculous comments, because every time I brought up having children with doctors or whatever in the past, I got told that I probably wouldn't be able to conceive, or that I would struggle. It took me maybe 3 attempts to get Oscar, so they didn't know what they were talking about. And my pregnancy was completely textbook. So, yeah, even with people that you would think would be more understanding, more in the know, like consultants or midwives, I'd end up telling them how things were rather than them having any idea.
Right.
So I'd have to kind of teach them what it was, what it meant for me to be a disabled pregnant person. And I got a lot of medical professionals asking me if I wanted social services involved. And it's happened almost every appointment. And I'd given them really no cause to really have any concern, other than the fact that they saw me in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
I'd have to say no every time. And I really would lose patience, especially, towards the end, when you're just angry anyway and you're in that kind of protective mode. Yeah, I'd find myself almost on the verge of an argument every time I saw someone official.
So really, it wasn't necessarily that you were anxious about your pregnancy. They made you second guess yourself constantly.
Yeah, I'm an anxious person anyway, but I felt quite confident in that I could do this. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. No one ever spoke to me about the good bits. All I would get was, how are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? You're not going to be able to manage. Well, you think you're going to be able to manage, but when he starts walking, oh God, it's going to be another thing then. Or, oh, he's going to be bigger than you when he's born. I hate that. People still say that to me. Or some variation of it. So I never got the joy. I just got the constant barrage of, you can't do this, why are you doing it? I think you're already so fragile in that state. You just need people bigging you up. And I didn't get that.
Yeah.
I was so glad when my pregnancy was over, because then I could be, look at me keeping this baby alive, you were wrong. And I knew I could do it, and I knew I'd get to that point. And it's so difficult to explain how you're going to do it when it's one of them you kind of do as you go along. I knew it would be fine, but I needed to do it to show them.
Well, we think you're amazing anyway through pregnancy. I'm going to ask this. Tell me as well if you're not comfortable sharing this on our platform. Can you just let our listeners know what your disability is and what you deal with day to day?
I have spinal muscular atrophy, so it's a muscle wasting disease. It's degenerative, so it gets worse as time goes on, but I haven't really gone downhill in about 10 years or so, but I presume when I get older it'll get worse. But it means that I can't walk at all. So in order to get around, I use a wheelchair. I can crawl and get on the floor and things, which some disabled people can't. But I've also got scoliosis, so my spine's curved. I get a bit of pain from that. And it makes me more tired, kind of more prone to like illness and stuff. But yeah, it's hard to sum up.
And have you always been in a wheelchair, or is it something that you kind of...
I was born with this, so I always knew it would be where I ended up. My mum has it as well. So I think that kind of made disability very much in the background for me, because I knew it really wasn't a big deal. Yeah, I had an operation on my ankles, and the way it is with me is that if I don't use my muscles, they waste, and if they waste, they don't come back. So basically, I had an operation on my ankles. My surgeon told me to stay off my feet for 3 months. And obviously, after those 3 months, I couldn't walk anymore. I mean, I was very nearly there, to make no mistake. I wasn't running marathons before. But after that, yeah, I was in the chair pretty much permanently to get about when I, 13.
Did you feel then, I guess, having your mum having you, and so you were kind of, you knew, I would be a little bit like, fuck you, I've been shown that this kid's going to be just fine.
So much, like literally so much fuck you. To everyone who I spoke to, I'd be like, well, my mum was all right. She's got 2 other kids. What the fuck? My sister has it. She has fart you.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So you come from some pretty strong female stock, that sounds like.
Yeah. People that are used to saying, excuse me, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
What is something about motherhood that you never expected?
How fun it is.
Oh.
I know, I make people like want to hit me, but I think it's great. All I ever heard is, oh my God, you're so tired, and always horrible. Some days you just sit and you hate your life and you want to go out and you can't. And, I don't know, everyone has different experience, but I have a laugh with that boy every day. It's like living with a little best friend that you just have to feed and cuddle. I love it. Yeah, how fun it is. I really enjoy it. It's the best fuck you I could have thought of.
Yes.
To have a son, so he's the happiest child, and he's just so funny and nice. Like, I know it sounds stupid, but he's very wise for a 1-year-old, I think. Biased, but everyone who meets him falls in love with him, and everyone who sees us together, you can see the kind of, they're conceding that I might not be the worst person for the job after all.
What's the hardest thing about motherhood for you?
It's such a boring answer, but the tiredness, I think. That's it's difficult. I've been tired I didn't really sleep for my pregnancy either, so 2 years.
Yeah.
To myself, I could do with a decent night's sleep. And obviously I do have chronic fatigue. So I'm not saying it's worse, but it doesn't help. So even if I got a lie-in, I'd still wake up on the back foot. So yeah, the tiredness for me, easy.
It is what it is. I say, if someone can invent a machine that you can go in and just top up all of the sleep that you've lost, mothers everywhere would just be the happiest people ever.
You'd pay everything that you own.
Oh my God.
I'd sell my house. I would.
When I see those sci-fis where they like put people into like sleep to go into space, I'm like, I bet every single one of those people in those pods is a mom, because they were just like, I get to sleep for 34 years. Yes!
Oh my God. What a lovely holiday.
Yeah, like, sign me up. I am just, we have all these things you can get in vending machines. I just want a little pod that I can top my sleep up in.
It'd be incredible if they just concentrated it down.
And you know what? If men had babies, I bet that would be really high on the list.
They would exist.
Exactly.
If men had to do the contraceptive pill, I mean, look, they keep trying to do it and they keep putting it off. Have you noticed? They keep, stomach keeps, we can't do that.
Side effects.
They threw money at Viagra though, didn't they?
We've been screwed over with contraceptive pills for the last 60 years. It's not, you know what I mean?
Why is it our responsibility? That's what annoys me.
Does the world of motherhood feel disability inclusive or ableist at all?
I think everything is ableist. Everything is stacked against disabled people in one way or another. But in terms of the world of motherhood and, actually having a child, 100%. Like when I was pregnant, if I'd have found my Instagram page, say, I do videos of myself doing practical things with my son to show other disabled women that it's possible. But it just doesn't look like how other people's may look. Like getting him in his high chair, for instance, I do it a bit differently. But if that kind of information was available while I was pregnant, given to me by a midwife or something, that problem would have been solved. But all of this is such news to people that it's possible. And you think, but that's such an easy thing to solve. Just tell people that they can. But every single bit of information is geared towards able-bodied people, or able-bodied parents. So it's very exclusionary. The amount of times I would be told, oh, but that doesn't really apply to you, does it? But there was never anything to fill that gap. So, yeah, in answer to your question, yes, completely, horribly.
Have you seen anything that's sort of exciting or positive or inspiring for disability inclusivity?
The amount of incredible women, well, in parents, but mainly women, on social media that are showing that it's possible has been awe-inspiring, like incredible to see. The trouble is you've got to go looking for it. And all of these people showcasing that it's doable. In terms of mainstream information, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. I was given not 1 ounce of useful information. Like, don't get me wrong, a lot of the information could apply to any pregnant person. But they just told me that I needed an occupational therapist, which is someone who comes into your home and helps you make it adaptable. But all that happened there for me was a woman came into my house, looked at my stairs and said, you can't manage with your child in these stairs. So when I told her I could, and I'm not worried about that, what I did actually was I put Oscar in a sling for the first couple of months until he could just sit on my lap. And that's how I just bum shuffled down the stairs. And that was how we got down for a bit. And I told her this and she looked absolutely horrified. And in the end, she said that we had to have a stair lift. But the trouble was I was refused funding for the stair lift. So they wanted us to pay £2,500 2 weeks before my C-section date to have this stair lift installed. And they told me they don't know if they would be comfortable releasing Oscar into my care without it. So fortunately, and I say fortunately, but my partner's nan died around the same time, and she had a stair lift in her house, which miraculously fit our stairs. So we could install it, and we still have it in our stairs, and it's never been used. But she was happy to come, and she came and looked at it. Like, oh, good, well done. I'm a lot less concerned now. That's the kind of help I was given. Stress and a potential $2,500 bill.
Barriers, loads of barriers.
And the threat that they weren't going to let you take your baby home.
Yeah. I said, well, worst comes to the worst, we'll just sleep downstairs for a bit. I mean, I know plenty of parents to do that anyway.
You don't move for the first few months, really, unless you have to.
Is my newborn going to judge me? It's like, well, this isn't your bedroom, is it? No, he doesn't give a shit. Yeah, I mean, they didn't know that we had a family member die. I mean, for God's sake. So as far as they're concerned, I spent £2,500 on something they knew I didn't need.
Something you knew and had told them you didn't need, which is even worse.
Yeah, it's still there.
It'd be a horrible reminder, wouldn't it, of the horrible system that's just stood against you?
It's a complete lack of understanding. There's no idea. All they saw was disabled person, one box, you can't do it. Rather than every single disabled person is different.
As a mum, as a fellow mum, what can we do to make things more inclusive?
I mean, there's no hard and fast rule and everyone's got their own opinion on it. For me, just kind of don't assume. Don't look at someone, a disabled parent, and think either end of the spectrum is kind of irritating. So don't assume they can't cope. Don't assume they're superhuman. I hate the inspirational thing as much as I hate being told I can't. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just doing what you all do. I'm no better, no worse. I'm just doing it. So I think what is helpful is just be normal. If you would talk to me, if I was stood up, then say hello. If you would ignore me, then ignore me. Just be as comfortable with it as you can. Don't start a conversation by going, how do you do this? How do you do that? Because I could just be buying milk at Aldi, not thinking about my disability at all, and then all of a sudden I'm expected to give a sort of concentrated of my life as a disabled parent. So it's, I would say just take a breath and consider how you would approach it if it was anyone else. And realise it's okay, we don't mind that we're disabled. We've got over it.
Yeah. Be helpful if everyone else could.
I can only imagine. Like it would be so frustrating if constantly someone was constantly asking me a question about something that I'd be like, it's none of your business. It's none of anyone's business. Do you know what I mean? That's it. It's no one's business. So don't be intrusive.
It isn't though. It really isn't anyone else's business. Yeah. Some questions are just mind blowing. Like when I can't remember why I was there, but I had to go to the ward about a week before my C-section to see, I think it was to see the layout or whatever. Really pointless. But the midwife said, oh, how did he get in there? I thought she was joking. It was a genuine question. I went, what? Yeah, how? And then she looked at my partner like angrily, assuming that something awful had happened. So I was like, oh, the conventional way people make babies.
The idea that you could have sex or enjoy
and
sex.
She was dumbfounded. Like, oh my God, shocking. So, yeah, questions like that. That would be my advice. Don't ask.
This is it. Imagine someone asking me, what position did you have when you made Ray? It's none of your fucking business, is it really?
Oh, my son was conceived.
I can't remember, but it's none of your fucking business. That's what I'd say.
I think you should have just said, we have no idea.
That's what you went next. If anyone asks you again, say
I woke up one morning and there was this bump and I didn't know it. I just sometimes wonder what goes through people's bloody heads.
I don't think this is it. People don't think. It's nowhere near the same, but I'm quite racially ambiguous to look at. And people often ask me, so where are your family from or where are you from? And the amount of times I felt like saying, it's none of your fucking business, is it really? It's really rude.
It's so rude. I think when you have something that people perceive as making you slightly lesser, they instantly feel entitled to you. So if they spot what they see as a weakness, then they think what's in your head is mine to have.
So we've stalked your Instagram, Molly. We have, because it's such an amazing place. There's so much,
so positive.
But there's just so much variety. I mean, you're a massive feminist. I love that you asked your partner to marry you. Like, I literally loved that so much.
Oh yeah.
No,
it was great.
Yeah, just please, if you go and check out Molly's Instagram, I don't want to ruin the surprise, but the picture is incredible.
Oh, the picture's amazing.
It was the best day. I was so proud.
Oh, you should be.
I'm such a romantic. You couldn't believe it. It was great.
Also, though, on your Instagram, you did mention that a little boy asked if you was a transformer and you was in stitches at that.
Single best thing. If anyone's going to come up to me and say anything about my disability, that he won. And his little face when I said yes. It was just, oh my God, I've met a real one. This is brilliant. Awesome. So now I do identify as a transformer.
Do you find that kids are sort of more, I was was going to say kind, but do you think that their curiosity is just that much purer?
Oh God,
that
yeah, I really don't mind when it's kids. I actually kind of actively encourage it. You get
Yeah.
some walking up and fiddling with the spokes and having a look at my wheels and stuff, thinking that it's just the best thing they've ever seen. It's important to accept as a disabled person, people aren't used to it. So that's just an element you got to deal with, really. If it's going to be destigmatized, then the next generation need to know that it's nothing to be scared of.
And I suppose the more they learn, and kids kind of accept everything, don't they? They kind of, anything you put in front of them they take as normal and fine.
Well, exactly. I mean, a little boy asked his mum, Mummy, what's that? And pointed to my chair. She goes, it's the wheelchair, isn't it amazing? And he went, yeah. And I thought, that's all it takes.
What are you looking forward to the most in the future mum life?
I don't know. I want him to stay as he is now.
No.
What am I looking forward to? Him being more curious, more interactive, and him being able to run off to something and go, Mum, look at this, and me, just him becoming a proper little boy, and a proper human being that has his own thoughts and feelings and drives, and I can't wait to see who he's going to be. I'm excited for that.
Finally, before we wrap up, this has absolutely, hands down, been one of my favourite chats. You just have to know that.
Oh my God, it's been gorgeous, Molly. So lovely.
Can you tell us where mums can follow you on social, read your blog, find out more about you?
Follow me on Instagram at Mums on a Roll, and I am also on Facebook, which is Mums on a Roll, but with spaces.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us.
Thank you. It's been fun.
It's been gorgeous.
I've enjoyed it.
Big shout out to Molly, and thank you so much for sharing your story, not only with us, but for all the mums who might have had or are currently going through a similar experience. It's so important for mums not to feel like they're on their own, and her Instagram page really is a beacon of light and inspiration for so many women.
And you can join the Good Enough Mums Club by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by searching Good Enough Mums Club. We'd love it if you could hit that subscribe button on the podcast, rate and review wherever you listen. And if you know a mum who could use this or could use some support, please tell them about the podcast.
If the stories on the podcast resonated with you or made you think or even just reassured you that you're doing okay as a mum, you're going to love what we've got coming up for you.
Thanks so much for listening, guys.
Bye.
How will I ever be good enough? When will the loneliness fade? When will it fade away? Why does it have to be so